I'm playing a role called Alex Moore. Well, it's a solo show first, so there's a lot of characters, but the storyteller of our show is called Alex, who is an out-of-work actor living in Los Angeles, who finds himself working in Barbra Streisand's basement.
Barbra Streisand does have a shopping mall in her basement, which is made up of a cobblestone street and little boutiques where she keeps all of the things she has acquired over the course of her life. So there's a dress shop, there's a doll shop because she has a doll collection, there's a gift shop, and I just wondered what it would be like to work down there as a shopkeeper and what would happen if Barbara came down to browse.
Yeah, no one works down there, but it's like an indoor street of shops where you can buy dolls. It's her house, she owns them all. So it's the imagined story of, I guess, a gay actor working for one of the biggest gay icons in the world.
The premise is preposterous. What I'm going to tell you could not possibly have happened with a person as famous, talented, and litigious as Barbra Streisand. This is not journalism. There will be no excerpts on This American Life. I'm an actor. Perhaps you know my work. And this is a play written by a guy named John, who only met her once. She came to see another play he wrote, and before it started, she offered him a piece of her Kit Kat bar. To this day, he regrets not taking it. He was afraid of making a mess.
But what was the inspiration behind the play?
Barbara put out a book in 2010 called My Passion for Design, which is all about how she made her built and designed her compound in Malibu. And there was a chapter about this shopping mall in her basement. And I just said, boy, how'd you like to be the guy who works down there? And once that I said that idea just stuck. And this is where it ended up.
The second thing you need to know is I don't do her. I don't do impressions in general. And anyway, enough people do her, even some women. So you don't need me to. No, when I tell you about the conversations we had, which never really took place, I'll just be her, and you can fill in the rest.
Were there any creative challenges in the play itself that you can remember, and how did you kind of approach them?
You know, what's hard is when you're writing a one-person show, you have to get into the mechanics of just what is possible to perform, how many words can get out of an actor's mouth, and to make it effective storytelling, but also something that is always helps the actor connect with the audience and stay engaging. Even though I wanted it to be a story that had highs and lows, you're dependent on one performer the entire time, and so it has to be something that you can get in an actor's body.
It's intense. I mean, there's no let-up with it. It's this guy telling you the story from A to Z. My sons are queer. We had a lot of respite with some videos where I could sit back, have a cup of tea and go, oh, it's Peter Pan now. They'll laugh at that and I can just have a bit of a rest. Not this time. Plenty of different characters to play. I've got a wig which changes everything, which is very important for the plot. It's not just me being vain, I promise.
None of this is real. I don't exist. What does exist is this book, My Passion for Design, by Barbra Streisand, published by Viking, out in time for Christmas 2010. It says so right here in the back, under the photography credits, that begin with Principal Photography by Barbra Streisand. I know, how'd she get her? According to the front flap, My Passion for Design is Barbara's account of the creation and construction of her newest home, the dream refuge she has longed for since the days when she shared a small Brooklyn apartment with her mother, brother, and grandparents, and a culmination and reflection of her love of American architecture and design from the 18th to the 20th centuries. This is some serious shit, and we'll get into it. But what most concerns us begins on page 190. Underground? A basement? No. A street. Here's the deal. After decades of fame and fortune and unbridled acquisition, Barbara has a lot of stuff. Who doesn't? But Barbara doesn't want some run-of-the-mill basement to keep it all in. No, Barbara doesn't like run-of-the-mill anything. Although she does in fact run a mill. No. Barbara wanted something special. Let us quote the relevant passage. I have another idea for this space. Why not do a street of shops, like I had seen at Rintotur? John had to look that up too. Winterthur is some decorative arts museum in Delaware. We're supposed to know that.
Have you changed it at all to bring it to London, or?
No, well, we did do it in London about 7 or 8 years ago. The original production, we brought it over here and we did it at the Meunier Chocolate Factory. And I changed about 10 things, just references that the audience was not as familiar with. Panera Bread became Pizza Hut, little things like that. But no, the play hasn't really changed. I mean, the characters have stayed the same. It actually takes place in a particular moment in time, right around the time that the book was published. So I haven't really, gone back.
Can you tell us a bit about the creative process?
So it's been really challenging, but really exciting and really satisfying when you get it right. And John Tolins is the most amazing writer, so it all flows out very naturally.
It's a very challenging form also because I think in a one-person show, there is even more pressure on the language and the words of every line than there are in a play with more than one actor on the stage, And so you feel really naked as a writer, and you have to just give your actor as much armor as you can so they go out there and they can feel confident.
In one section of the museum, they recreated all these little stores. A china shop, a country store, just the way they'd have looked in the early 1800s, and then they used them to display various collections. Wouldn't it be fun to do something similar? Wouldn't it? So that's what she did. She built a shopping mall in her basement. Remember, this is the part that's real. There's a doll shop, an antique store, a gift shoppy, where they sell extra letter P's and E's apparently. All of it displayed with totalitarian precision. It's as if your grandma designed the Apple store.
I like to laugh, and for me, it's just about when there's something that just captures my attention and makes me feel like, oh, that's really interesting, or I don't quite understand that and I want to know more, or that person is captivating, that character, that's a great situation.
If you had to borrow one thing from Barbra Streisand's closet or house, what would it be?
The people dress. Yeah, because she owns that, the one she sang on stage. Yeah, that's what I'd wear.
I would probably want to get any recordings she has of hers that she never released.
Would you steal it or borrow it?
Steal it, of course. She's got loads of stuff, she don't need that one.
Of course, I don't think there are many because now she's put out like 2 CDs of unreleased recordings. But I wonder if there's some things they've
cassette,
never
maybe,
seen.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't tell me.
Not to live, just sit and pad it.
Enough is a...
Enough.
We made her cut like maybe 100 pages out of her 900-page autobiography that came out. I'd love to see what was cut.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Barbara's basement is just like any other shopping mall, except for the total lack of customers and employees. Well, maybe not. What if somebody had to work down there? John, the playwright we don't care about, became obsessed with this idea about an actor who gets the job, a character I could play.
It's so hard. This career can be very difficult. I mean, it's obviously I'm not in a coal mine, but it's hard enough that you want to always be working on things that delight you. And this play was a perfect example of it. Was just something that made me laugh and was really fun to work on always. And so that's, I think, one of the reasons why audiences seem to find it so fun too.
Can you give us the show sum up in 3 words?
Camp, beautiful, and gorgeous.
I always like working in the theater the best. There's nothing more satisfying than being in a room with collaborators who I love and then bringing in an audience and being able to work on something and hear the response right then. And because theater is about the words and the effect words can have on people and on actors.
Why should we see the show if people don't know about it?
Because it's hysterically funny and it's a universal tale of someone who's achieved everything, Barbra Streisand, versus someone who is struggling, and can those people have things in common? And you'll find out when you come and watch it, but it's fundamentally really funny, and if you like a bit of Barbra Streisand, you'll love it.
You know, they say that projects are never finished, they're abandoned. I've abandoned Buyer Cellar. I'm happy with it. And for me now, it's like just fun to come back and revisit it and see who I was when I wrote it. And to just, it's like visiting an old friend.
What's your favourite musical?
Acorn Antiques by Victoria Wood. Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
When do you open?
The 18th of September, which is 6 days from now.
Make sure you check out the show.
Thank you.